All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Thank you very much for this opportunity, sir.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
So you must be inundated with offers and opportunities all the time. Can you tell me how Bitcoin and crypto cut through that noise and got your attention?
Yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of it was kind of the political journey that we were on, and a lot of the weaponization of government, right? They came after us ruthlessly. I saw the worst side of financial institutions. I saw financial institutions that tried to cancel us for no reason at all. I saw financial institutions try and, go after and deplatform and debank people who wore a beautiful red "Make America Great Again" hat. I saw government regulators go into financial institutions and literally say, if you bank those people, we're gonna go after you. We're gonna take away your charter licenses. We're gonna look at every little corner you have. I mean, I saw the IRS attack people, based on political beliefs, based on religion, based on a lot of other things. And honestly, I think that cancel culture kind of opened my eyes to all of this, right? I mean, much like they attacked us for political reasons, they've been attacking people in the crypto space for years. They've attacked all of you. In fact, you were almost the first people as part of cancel culture. They went after you ruthlessly. I have buddies who had crypto accounts, and literally, like, Wachovia would stop banking them because of it. I mean, they would pull their accounts in the middle of the night. All of a sudden, they couldn't pay their mortgage payment. They couldn't pay their car payment. They couldn't pay for their kids' school, all because they owned a token that they believed in. They believed in kind of the future of finance. And so
dire times.
I think it was a lot of the weaponization that we saw. And then all of a sudden you combine that with the fact that modern finance is incompetent. I mean, who works 9 to 5, 5 days a week right now, right? I mean, how in the world, and I use this example all the time because I just think it's pertinent, but if somebody wants to go out and get a home loan, how the hell does it take 90 days, 120 days of paper pushing, of middlemen, of title, of this, of that, to borrow money when you have the assets? You have the assets sitting in a bank, and yet it takes you 90 days to possibly get a home mortgage. I mean, you can transfer millions of dollars on Bitcoin, on crypto, instantaneously. Sunday night, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're sitting on the couch with your wife. You can buy, trade, sell. Why can't you do that with home mortgages? Why can't you do that with any other financial function? And I truly believe that blockchain, and I truly believe that there's nothing that these big banks can do with the tens of thousands of people sitting in these ivory towers in every big city around the world that cost fortunes, by the way. That can't be done on blockchain. Cheaper, faster, better, more efficiently, more transparently. And so that's why I've kind of fallen in love with it. I mean, I really believe in the industry. I believe that it's the financial future. Why, if I come to Abu Dhabi from Florida, am I going around Abu Dhabi trying to find a ATM machine to give out tips? Why? And by the way, when I find that ATM machine, guess what? They're probably going to take a 30% vig because they're transferring from US dollars, over, to this currency. And then you're going to take banking fees and everything else. By the time you pull out $300, that $300 is probably 150 at that point.
Exactly.
All that, so you can give out a couple tips to people who are driving you around. It doesn't make any sense. Why, if you want to go buy a watch from Morocco, how do I do that?
I have no idea.
Do I call up JP Morgan Chase? Do I find a bank in Morocco? How do I know they're legit? How do I know where the money's going? They're going to take massive fees. They're going to take massive vigs. Chances are the people are never going to see the money on the opposite side. Why, when they can text me a link and I can pay them point to point? The reality is cryptocurrency takes out all of these. It takes out the weaponization. It takes out the unfair financial system that really actually only benefits guys like us, in all fairness, right? People that have big assets and wealth. I really believe that this is the future.
That's fascinating. And it's so interesting that part of this journey, it seems like you were pushed in this direction almost, right? Just on this point, one bad example of bad U.S. regulation is the regulation towards taxes. For example, Roger Ver is being pursued by the DOJ right now for alleged tax fraud in 2014. Tucker Carlson interviewed him recently. He's going to release that soon. But for you, I wonder if you've been frustrated by this tax regime towards crypto when you were launching World Liberty Financial.
I'm frustrated that America needs to lead the way in everything in the world because we're the superpower of the world. And, over the last 4 years, you had incompetent leadership. I don't think they could spell crypto, literally. I don't think they could spell AI. I mean, they were asleep at the wheel and they did absolutely nothing to progress something that's being progressed all over the world when America should lead the way. And And frankly, America leading the way is a really good thing, right? Like, I'd much rather America lead the way with a great wealth of knowledge, with understanding of high finance, probably the best understanding of banking anywhere in the world. I think America does finance probably better than anyone.
I agree. Yeah.
I'd much rather them put the kind of the outside blockers on what the crypto industry should be. Meaning, the crypto industry actually wants regulation. A lot of people think it wants absolutely no regulation, but they just want the rules of the road,
Exactly.
so that it's clear. The problem is you had an SEC that was going after absolutely everybody. If you breathed the wrong way, they'd go after you. And you had the SEC who didn't know a damn thing about cryptocurrencies. You had Gary Gensler, who just absolutely was anti-crypto, in his blood. And any chance that they could to make an example of somebody, they would. And all the while, what are you doing? You're giving the competitive advantage to every country around the world who's not America, right? I mean,
Exactly.
Well, what kind of leadership is that? It's terrible leadership. And then you have my father come out and very convincingly at the crypto conference, at the Bitcoin conference, this very conference in Miami, say, America will be the crypto capital of the world. We're going to do it better than anybody. We're going to fire Gary Gensler. Thankfully, he just resigned a couple of weeks ago, as you know better than anybody. And if he didn't resign, he would have thrown him out. He would have
Exactly,
he would have done the Cobra, if you remember what the Cobra was, which is that you're fired.
Yeah, of course.
And he put in Paul Atkins. Paul Atkins is going to be obviously a great champion of crypto, and
The markets loved it. Yeah.
my father's embracing it.
Yeah.
He wants to add it to the treasury. He wants to make U.S.-based cryptocurrencies tax-free. He wants to have sensible regulation, because sensible regulation is smart, but he wants America to lead the way. And America will lead the way.
Yeah. So on this point, so we're in the UAE right now, and the UAE and Singapore and some of these other jurisdictions are lauded for their clear and cooperative crypto regulation. But I have talked to many business people in these regions, and they've told me that even though these regions have good, clear regulation, their regulators still look to the U.S.
Of course they do.
Right? And so I was surprised at that, right? And so they were like, get it together, right? Yes, our legislation and regulation is good, but we still take our cue from the U.S.
Listen, the U.S. is a economic powerhouse. If you're to break California off the U.S. alone, it'd be the fourth largest economy in the world, right? That tells you how big, and that's just one of obviously 50 states. It's a powerhouse. It's a behemoth, and the world does. And listen, the world looks to the United States on a lot of things: on safety, on security, on stability.
Yeah.
Look at the void that we've had over the last 4 years. Look at the wars that have broken out. Those wars would have never happened under Donald Trump. The nonsense would have never happened. You wouldn't have had millions of dead Ukrainians and Russians if my father was in office. And I know that's just kind of a parallel to what we're talking about, but the world looks to superpowers to define regulations, to come up with a smart way forward. And it'd be really great if we got all those countries together and said, listen, here's a new universe. And we all know it's coming. It's a freight train running down the tracks. And you know what? Bitcoin hitting 100,000 opened up a lot of people's eyes.
I think so.
When Bitcoin hits 1 million, it's going to open up even more eyes. And when Bitcoin hits 2 million, as I happen to think it will, it's going to open up even more eyes, right? And the train is coming.
Yeah.
And forget about Bitcoin for a second, as much as we all love it. The entire industry is coming. Everybody knows that traditional banking is broken.
Yep.
It's antiquated. There's a reason that BlackRock is spending billions and billions and billions investing in technologies and cryptocurrencies and DeFi. Same with Schwab, same with Fidelity, same with Morgan Stanley's. I mean, you name it. Same with JP Morgan.
Yes.
Why? Because they realize the behemoth that's looming, and they realize that it's one industry that could actually make them insolvent, if you want to know the truth, right? So they're getting
I agree with you.
They're getting on that band, and so the faster people can see that, ultimately better. We're on the precipice of something great. In fact, in my speech today, I have one little example that really stuck out to me, which is, text messaging was developed in 1992, right?
Yeah.
The first text message was sent. It happened to be Merry Christmas. There was one text message in 1992.
All right.
Today you have 53 billion text messages that are sent every single day.
Yeah.
That's like 227,000 text messages every single second.
Yeah.
Right? It took you 30 years to get there.
Yeah.
And that's where we are with the crypto world, right?
I like that.
We're on the precipice of something incredible. We're at that first tweet, or maybe a little bit more. We might be at the 1,000th tweet, all right? But we're certainly not in the billions right now. And I think the people who realize that stand to gain a lot. The people who don't, the people who still think that Bitcoin is quote unquote funny money, I happen to disagree highly. And I think those people are going to be left behind in a big way, for all of crypto.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. You've been generous with your time. Last question. So in the live stream announcement for World Liberty Financial, you said that the goal is to make DeFi accessible to everyone, right? And I wholeheartedly agree with you. I love DeFi. And like, for example, my mom could never use it. I would never do it like that. You don't have to give any details, but I was wondering if, broadly speaking, you could tell me, how is World Liberty Financial going to bring DeFi to the masses?
Listen, I think there's one thing I can do in the process. I'm not a programmer. I'm not I'm not a computer, savant when it comes to coding and all the things you need to do as part of. The one thing I am is I understand hospitality better than anybody. And I went through the process, and I had to. I mean, I went through the process of setting up MetaMask accounts and trying to transfer to Aave and trying to loop and try and do all the stuff that you'd otherwise do, and it's an absolute disaster. All right, you have to buy USDC, and then once it's in, then you have to buy the other thing, and then you have to loop the other thing, and then you have to transfer out of all those swaps, and you're sitting there saying,
he's a degen.
give it to the average person. They're not even setting up their ledger. They're not even getting the PIN code on their damn ledger, right? And that's step number one of about 400. And I was lucky. I have people who are very sophisticated in this world that are around us, that are involved in World Liberty. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, how can I bring hospitality, right? You walk into one of our hotels, you never touch a door. Your key cards are waiting for you. You're brought up. You never touch a button in the elevators, right? You're moved into your room. Everything's seamless. Everything's easy. That's the world that we're in. That's what people pay us to do, to make life comfortable and convenient.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's nothing, and no disrespect to the internet, there's nothing comfortable and there's nothing convenient about DeFi.
I completely agree.
By the way, it's no different than AOL, where you remember the dial-up in AOL, where you're sitting there for 20 minutes, there's the little things going around and around, and you have a screechy little noise that didn't need to exist. Why did that? And you're sitting there saying, there's a better way of doing this, right? And over a 20-year period of time, everything you do is instantaneous now. It pops up right away. There's no connectivity problems like you used to have. And so that's the refinement that DeFi is going to go through as well. DeFi is going to go through that process of going from very user-unfriendly to user-friendly. And the more user-friendly it gets, the more it's going to be embraced by people who see the potential, and the more that traditional finance is going to become redundant. And so
I love that answer, man.
That's the problem I hope to solve. I want to make DeFi, and I want to make crypto idiot proof. And whoever does that's going to win the battle.
No, and I agree. And I think, I've never thought of it like that, but bringing that expertise of hospitality is something that's completely lacking in crypto in general, right? Because it's all tech focused and just trying to get the tech done. But yeah, you need that to smooth out the rough edges and polish it. Anyway, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the time.
Thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you.
We're done. All right.
Thank you, guys.